Welcome to the OnlyFans Secrets Marketing Podcast. The goal of this podcast is to help both new and established OnlyFans creators learn the basics of online branding, marketing, and promotion to help you make more money with your content and maximize your time online. My name is Richard Lewis, and I have over 20 years of internet marketing experience. So let's get started with today's topic. And that topic is Sunday Secrets 9, answering listeners' OnlyFans questions. So I am once again answering our listeners' questions about OnlyFans this week. It wouldn't be a Sunday without Sunday Secrets. So let's jump right in. All right, so a listener in Portland, Oregon asks, so I've discovered my content on a not safe for work site that reposts OnlyFans content. Is there a service that can help me get these removed? So, yes, there are. There are two recommended services. One is called Rolta, and there's another one called Cam Model Protection. So Rolta's site, and that's RULTA, says that they recrawl sites, scan for copyright infringement, send takedown notices, search your content on Google Images. So generally they are doing everything, or they will do everything for you as far as getting something removed. Now, they state on the site that, they have contacts within hosting. Now, here's the gem there, is that, every site has to be hosted somewhere. And so what a lot of these companies do is they go after the actual host because that's liability for the host. So most companies that are setting these kind of sites up with stolen content, they don't own their own hosting. They have to be on a server. And so what happens is that a company like Rolta will go directly after the host. Now, the host does not want to have liability for someone who's paying them, $9.95 a month and possible, millions of dollars worth of liability. So they will just stop hosting them. You see this a lot with controversial websites, hate type websites that jump from place to place and where they just don't have anyone who will host them anymore. Now, getting things removed from Google, I will say, is quite difficult. That requires a lot of, possible, litigation. Now, as far as removing things from Google Images, they, certainly can do that. Again, what happens there is they, once the image is no longer there on the host, it's just not going to appear as much on Google Images unless for some reason that image is cached inside their system. And again, that gets even more complicated. So, you have a lot of things that need to get done. So a company like Rolta or Cam Model Protection, can do these things for you. I've never utilized either of these services. I just know of them, and they are recommended within the creator community. So I don't vouch for either of these services. So you definitely want to do the research yourself. Contact them, talk to them, and make sure that they, can work things out for you. But they definitely, from what I'm looking at, and from my experience in internet marketing for the last 20 years, they seem to be doing what needs to be done. When they talk about recrawling, they're basically just going back through and making sure that, the sites aren't popping back up with a different name, or the image isn't popping back up with a different name. So they're doing a lot of things here. That's very helpful. So if you have content that's out there that you don't want to be out there, they will do their best to have that removed. Okay, so a listener in Hope Mills, North Carolina asks, I listened to your episode on Snapchat, and I'm still unclear on how Snapchat can ban me for OnlyFans story posts. Okay, so overall, Snapchat doesn't want to see public OnlyFans links. So that means that you can create an image with your OnlyFans link as part of the image, so people can visually see it, but you don't want to attach the link itself inside the story. That's what's going to get you banned. There's very little chance that, Snapchat will, ban you for having something embedded in your image as a link. There's always going to be that chance that you have like a person that doesn't like you and might try to, get your Snapchat removed by reporting you. But again, that's pretty rare. But basically, as I've talked to you before about bots and how bots crawl through, like obviously there's not a real person who can sit here and visually look at every single story that goes through. As a matter of fact, the whole concept of Snapchat is that it's, safe and something that will disappear. But what happens is they have a bot, and the bot notices the OnlyFans link, and then the OnlyFans link is reported back, and then they, will take action against the account, especially if they feel it's, promotion of something that's against their policies. They have pretty strict policies against any adult material. Now, if you're not selling adult material, you could still end up in the same, loop with those that are, because, OnlyFans has the reputation that it has because of the amount of 18 plus material that's sold on the site. So just make sure if you are posting stories, because I do believe that Snapchat is a good resource, a good place to sort of house your fans in a way that you can actually interact with them. And if they become some sort of an issue for you, if they become harassing, you can block them. But if they are good and you want to be able to send them different offers, custom things outside of, the control of OnlyFans, then you're able to do that. Just make sure that you don't, post the link directly in your stories. Okay, so a listener in Hollywood, California asks, do you recommend filters, stickers, etc. in pictures and ads? Do these get more attention? Okay, so honestly, it depends on where you're placing the ad. Typically subs are looking for a natural look. To quote one of my favorite creators on Reddit, Little Brat, she says, they want organic pictures that look like you're a girlfriend sending a picture, which is a great quote. So, generally speaking, when you're creating an ad or you're creating a post, most people are not wanting to see all of that. Another creator, Holly Dolly XXX, says most people don't want dog ears on their pictures. And I have to agree there. Like filters, dog ears, all of that. Certainly, I guess there was a time for a lot of that, when it was brand new and it was cute. But you see less and less of that kind of thing, less and less filtering. It is, sometimes good if you're trying to promote with another creator to do the whole box ad where, one side of the box is you and the other side is them. Or if you're doing a special, you can kind of create those boxes. And I mentioned, a program like InShot, that can help you create those sort of ads. But generally speaking, I would not recommend that you use too many filters. Again, people are seeing that on, Instagram. I think, and it's on Snapchat, I think they've overseen it. I think at this point, a lot of that is played out. And so people are going to places like Reddit where they can just see natural looking pictures, real looking pictures. And I think that's why the popularity, has shifted as far as, visuals and ads from Instagram to Reddit. And that's why I've devoted more time to Reddit as far as promotion, because that's where people know, if they want to see, those sort of pictures to go. That, of course, has led to the reaction from, Reddit moderators to start banning people, that have OnlyFans links, which again can be an issue. But you definitely want to give people, that natural look. And I very much agree with her opinion that, you want that girlfriend experience look or boyfriend experience look that, people aren't necessarily getting. And again, the filtering and all this stuff, it just seems like it got out of control as far as pictures. And I think that now, like, if you really want all this filtering, all these effects, video has taken over something like TikTok. So you're like, okay, video effects and music and noise. And now people are wanting pictures that are just, kind of clean aesthetic. All right. So a listener in Evansville, Indiana asks, can you clarify what the new terms of service says about quote unquote public nudity? Okay, so basically under the new terms of service, they have made a statement about how you can record yourself. And for a lot of people, they're out recording themselves in public. And I imagine that was a problem because that's, against the law in 99% of places. So basically, if there is what they're saying is if there is a reasonable expectation of the public seeing you, then it's banned. So, in places that it's, obvious, like if you're going to film yourself in a library or you're going to film yourself in a public park, again, like there's no expectation of privacy within that, and it's against the law. So if you're thinking to yourself, it's probably against the law for me to be filming, here or taking pictures here, OnlyFans doesn't want you doing it. Now, they're saying that you can still record on your private property, or secluded areas of nature. Again, these are places where you just don't expect, people to be around. So, your best thing is that if it appears in a horror movie, like in nature, if you're out so far that you could be in a horror movie, then you're probably fine. If not, then you're probably too close to other people, and then they could possibly, find you and see you doing what, you're doing. So just make sure that you don't take any pictures, with an expectation that someone could walk by, that, it's a public space. But on your private property, in your backyard with fencing, if you feel that you have a comfortable amount of privacy, go for it. Go ahead and take those pictures is what the new terms of service is saying. Okay, so a listener in Birmingham, England asks, I can't stop getting frustrated at the high amount of subscribers who cancel or don't resubscribe. Is this normal? So absolutely yes. Sadly, people will come and go. An average renewal rate 40-50%. If you think about it, some people just subscribe for curiosity's sake. So if you're posting specific pictures on OnlyFans that you aren't posting anywhere else, they might just subscribe for 1 month so they can see what they wanted to see, and then go and do that 100 more times with 100 more people. I wouldn't take that as an offense, as meaning that, they didn't enjoy your content. That just might be how they, proceed as far as, subscribing. There's always people who are loyal. This is similar to people who date around as opposed to someone who marries their first girlfriend or boyfriend. There's certain people in society that want to go around and date 100 people, and other people who just want to find one person and they're fine. They're like, I'm good, and now I'm going to go on with my life. So, you can't be insulted that, someone who is a bit of a player for OnlyFans goes around and plays on other, sites, on other pages. So, you're not going to get everyone resubscribing, and that's why there's a podcast like this that exists, because you have to constantly be marketing and promoting yourself to just stay even a lot of the times. And even for large, one thing that people don't know if they don't necessarily have a large following on social media is you're not at a point, you're